ever said any of the following? I want to practice my Portuguese, but everyone speaks English. I can read and write Portuguese, but it all falls apart when I speak. I don't have the confidence to speak to native Portuguese speakers yet. If this sounds like you, you are not alone. We are so scared of making mistakes when we learn a new language as an adult that it paralyzes our progress. I felt exactly the same when I was learning Portuguese. I came to Coimbra to do my Erasmus exchange after 2 years at university learning the theory, but every day it felt like an uphill struggle to get what I knew in my head to come out of my mouth. But guess what? There is no way around those feelings of discomfort. The only way is through them. So today I'm going to get a little bit tough love on you and say that the only secret to learning to speak is to get comfortable with being uncomfortable and just start. Now, if you live somewhere like Lisbon or the Algarve where people speak fantastic English, this can be really difficult. So the best way to get this done is to find a language learning exchange partner. Now, in this video where I talked about ways to practice your listening, I mentioned that this is somebody who wants to practice your native language in exchange for you speaking Portuguese with them. So a native Portuguese speaker that wants to learn your language. In this video, I'm going to give you 10 tips to find the perfect language learning partner and how to make the experience great for both of you. There's even some bonus material to download for free that is really going to help as well. If you're new to the channel, bem-vindo. My name is Liz and I am an English expat living in Lisbon, helping others who are relocating to Portugal build their confidence and conversation skills with this very channel. So if you don't want to miss an episode, make sure you click the subscribe button and the bell to get notifications when I upload a new video every week. So let's get into these 10 tips then. Number 1 is accept that the time is now. You might think that you're not ready, but guess what? You're never going to feel ready. If you've already mastered the basics of pronunciation, forming simple sentences, and using the present tense, then you can absolutely start to do this now. Tip number 2, realize your own worth. Lots of people don't get started because they're worried that they're going to waste their partner's time, when actually you're going to be just as valuable to them as they are to you. This isn't a one-way street. Think also about how they might also be feeling really nervous to speak your language. So this is something that you are really going to be able to help each other with. Tip number 3, invest some time to search for the one. Finding a good language learning partner is a lot like finding the right teacher or the right personal trainer. You're not going to click with everybody, but that doesn't mean that you should get disheartened and just stop and think, there's nobody out there for me. There will be a good match for you. You might just have to meet up with a few people and do a few sessions until you find somebody that you really click with. So make sure that you don't give up too early. Tip number 4 is to advertise yourself. To find the perfect language learning partner, you are going to have to actively look for one. There are specific apps for this, like Tandem and Hello Talk. You could leave a post in a Facebook group that's dedicated to learning Portuguese, saying which your native language is and that you're looking for somebody to help you with your Portuguese. Or you could check forums like Reddit or the Duolingo forum. Just make sure that you're careful about who you share your personal information with if you're going to connect over Skype or WhatsApp, for example. Most people are genuine, but of course there are some people who are not, so just be sensible like you would when you're going about your normal life online anyway. Tip number 5 is to find somebody who is on your level. You're going to want to find somebody that you click with personality-wise, but it's also really helpful to try and find somebody who's roughly on the same level as you in your language as you are in Portuguese. So if you are quite a beginner, matching with somebody who is very advanced in your native language is probably going to be a bit frustrating for them. So you just want to bear that in mind. Trying to find somebody at a similar level is going to make this much easier. Do you already have a Portuguese language learning partner? Where did you find them? And what tips do you have to make it work? Leave them in the comments below for people who are just getting started. It will be really helpful. Tip number 6 is to be patient. This is one of those treat others the way you would like to be treated pieces of advice. Just remember, it's going to be difficult for them too. And if you're interrupting somebody all the time to correct them, then it's going to really interrupt the flow of the conversation. So be really patient. I find a really good technique when you want to correct somebody is to just repeat back what they want to say in the correct way and get them to repeat it as well. So this will help the conversation flow really nicely. Tip number 7 is to record your lessons. You can get apps that you can use to record phone calls, or if you're using Skype or Zoom, then these can easily be recorded as well. This will be really useful because then you can go and listen back to your lesson, catch anything that you've missed, and write down anything that you didn't get the first time round. Tip number 8 is to cheat. Yep, you heard it right. I am giving you permission to cheat on this. What's really important is that you just start speaking, and you're going to need things that are going to act like a safety net to actually help you through this dialogue. So you could have Google Translate open on your screen and quickly type in a question or an answer to be able to help the conversation flow. Remember that this isn't a test. The objective is to just start speaking, so whatever you need to do to make that happen, you can do it. To make this easy for you, I have created a PDF with 20 conversation starters for your very first conversation with a Portuguese native speaker, so there truly are no excuses. The link to download it is in the description below. Tip number 9 is that you can choose Brazilians to speak to. Like I said earlier, the important thing here is to just start speaking and start to get over those nerves. Remember, getting comfortable with being uncomfortable. So I tell my students that if they struggle to find somebody in Portugal that they can practice with, you can totally chat to a Brazilian instead, because there are lots more of them. You just need to be aware that there are some differences. So like I mentioned in my previous video on listening, I don't recommend using Brazilian audio to train your listening because it will confuse you at this stage. But to practice speaking and to just really train that path from head through mouth and getting over the nerves, then working with a Brazilian person is still going to be really useful here. So don't let it hold you back. If you can't find a match in Portugal, start speaking to somebody Brazilian instead. Final tip is to be consistent. You wouldn't go to the gym a couple of times and think, cool, I've got a six-pack now. Speaking practice and speaking a language is going to be exactly the same. You need to be showing up week after week and really dedicating time to making this progress. So you need to stick to this at least once a week, and then as you progress, maybe even twice a week. Progress that you will see will be fantastic. Remember, everyone has to start somewhere, and if you've got this far through the video, then I think that you've got the motivation that you need to do this. You do know more than you think. Just focus on progress over perfection. Download the conversation starters in the description below and go for it. I cannot wait to hear how you get on. I'll be back next week with more tips and tutorials. If you enjoyed this video, then make sure you give it a thumbs up, like, and send this video to somebody else who needs to hear this. Make sure you're subscribed so you never miss an episode, and I will see you again next week. Obrigada por assistirem. Ciao for now.